Okay, here we go. Focus. Speed. I am speed. 1 winner. 42 losers. I eat losers for breakfast. Breakfast? Maybe I should have had breakfast. A little brekkie could be good for me. No, stay focused. Speed. I'm faster than fast, quicker than quick. I am lightning.
Hey, Lightning, you ready?
You know, one thing I can't get enough of in games is sexy ass movement systems. Look at this shit. This is buttery smooth. When I get my hands on a game with a good movement system, I can't stop playing. Everything else can be pretty but if that movement is sexy and curvy, I am glued to that shit for ages. And yet, so many games don't give a crap about traversal. For what? Realism? Games aren't real anyway. And if you wanted games to be real, just go outside. Look at this. I love Uncharted. Mwah! The third-person gunplay is tight and pretty engaging, and the story is phenomenal. Except for the third one, I still don't know what the hell is happening in that one. But oh my god, Nathan cannot run for his life. This man lives in a world where apparently a slow trot can get you anywhere. All Naughty Dog had to do was make L3 make him run a bit faster. And I thought they started to figure it out when they made L2 Joel's jog a bit faster button in The Last of Us. But apparently, adding a run animation in this beautiful looking game would have been a bit too taxing on the budget. It's amazing that, spoilers, Nate has a grappling hook in Uncharted 4. I love it when games add a hook shot or grappling hook to make moving around more exciting and engaging. Would have been nice to have one in Breath of the Wild. But that brings up a couple mechanics I do love about Breath of the Wild that makes existing and moving around within it a pleasure. Shield surfing. Now, even though you never reach a speed that is extremely fast, and shields break really quickly when doing so, it's still so fun! If I can hop on my shield and slide down a hill, I will gladly do so. Then we got gliding. This shit is fun and satisfying to do wherever and whenever. You can glide off a cliff and enjoy the view. You can use your champion ability to soar up into the sky like a proud American. You can start a fire and use the updraft to catch some air. There are so many creative ways to just fly around. Now combine that with shield surfing, and you can climb onto the top of a mountain, look for a shrine, mark the shrine, hop onto your shield, and surf up to a cliff to jump off, pull out the glider with the shield still attached to your feet so you can continue to surf after you hit the ground. This shit makes playing Breath of the Wild so engaging! These kinds of traversal mechanics makes going from point A to point B in an open world into a fleshed out adventure with appropriate pacing where the gameplay the player is engaging with changes to keep stuff interesting. Horses. With Breath of the Wild still fresh in our minds, now I want to talk about horses in games. I love me a trusty horse in my video games. You get to name them and bond over them. They'll get you out of a tight situation and just make you feel like the baddest ass in the whole Wild West. You know what's not fun? Having to steer your horse on the trails that's so windy that it makes my joystick want to commit seppuku. What if I just want to look at the pretty world the devs have spent years creating, but you can't because your horse can't tell the difference between a road and a cliff? Like the original Red Dead. The world is pretty and I just want to enjoy the view while getting from town to town, but now I gotta make sure that my horse doesn't kill both of us by running off the trail. Thank God Red Dead 2 has an auto ride function built into the game so I can look at the sprawling vista presented by Rockstar. Now in Breath of the Wild, the horse follows the path so you can enjoy your ride to your final destination either way. Things that make movement less fun. A bad movement system sucks. And what sucks even more is when a mediocre movement system is made worse on purpose by the environment or by level design. Water levels and snow levels, I am looking at you. I just want to get to the next waypoint or explore in peace by just getting to wherever the hell I want to go as fast as I can. Now the snow won't let me do that without jumping around like a moron. I'm looking at you, Rise of the Tomb Raider, also Death Stranding. The entire concept of Death Stranding, and mind you, I bought the $200 collector's edition with the plastic fetus and everything. So as much as it hurts to say, the fun in Death Stranding comes from making your trips between delivery points as fast and as short as possible. To make walking less frustrating through snow, you make zip lines and just skip the snow. And on rocky land, you build roads and just drive. Now, we all know the dreaded water levels in games, and I actually understand where the devs are coming from with this one. These levels change up gameplay to make the pacing more enjoyable. Does it usually end up like this? No. Come to think of it, 2D Mario has the best water levels, considering they've been doing this for years at this point. Water in games brings the gameplay to a halt. Look at Sonic. The poor hedgehog just wants to maintain momentum and go fast. But now, the devs throw him in a toxic vat of chemicals or some stupid water, and now all he can do is go slow. Dying Light, a zombie parkour game that rewards speed and reflexes to pull off jumps, tucks, and rolls, has challenges that make players swim. You just swim. You press W, or forward on the joystick, and have to come up to breathe every couple minutes. It slows me down when I just want to run across rooftops, and it's just boring overall. Leave the water to games that actually do it well, like Subnautica, right? Don't make me interact with water unless I get a pirate ship like AC-4, or unless devs figure out how to keep movement in water as engaging as movement on land. Last bit of nitpicking before we get to the gushing over games I love. When sliding in games has an animation that has no correlation with the physics. So many FPS games do this. Even Dying Light, which I'm about to just put on a pedestal, does this. Okay, if I slide on a horizontal plane, I should stop at the same point every time. But if I slide down a slope, I should go farther. Now, according to these games, you're wrong to even think that, you dumb baby. I mean, sure, sliding is used to evade fire and balance gunfights, like in Destiny 2, right? And speed up slightly. But besides that, what can you do functionally that makes this mechanic interesting and deep? Destiny 2 even has a double jump and is set in a sci-fi future with flying warlocks and stuff, right? Just think of what an advanced movement system could do for this game! Moving around the world would be a lot more interesting with a wall run and a slide that could be strung together to help Guardians go faster. And with Sparrows never actually going as fast as they probably should, I'm not asking for burnout levels of speed and handling. But burnout levels of speed and handling with the Sparrows would be nice. Now, I just like to preface this by saying I'm not a hardcore fan of Destiny. And I think the gunplay is some of the tightest, most satisfying piece of heaven you can get on this side of hell. But moving around in Destiny 2 is boring and sometimes a pain in the ass. I just kind of run around these corridors, moving from encounter to encounter. And if they don't have a slide, I might have been fine. But once you add a slide and you're a sci-fi shooter, why not just make the movement a tad bit more fun? I understand if COD Modern Warfare 2019 doesn't have a wall run. I get it. It's boots on the ground and it helps the game achieve the quote-unquote realistic nature of the game. Okay, one last pet peeve. Games that don't let you jump. I challenge you right now, for those of you who are at home, or if you're in a public place, this is going to take some very ballsy shit. But just stand up and jump. Great! Now you look like a dumbass who listened to a guy on YouTube. For those of you who didn't do it, good job. Don't trust people on the internet. You don't really notice it, but when it ain't there, it kind of feels weird. I mean, it doesn't ruin gameplay or the gameplay experience, but it just feels kind of janky. Like, okay, I love Siege. Probably an unhealthy amount. But it still kind of weirds me out that it doesn't have a jump button. Only a vault, like, you gotta hit space to vault. And I get it, it's a tactical shooter where you make as little noise as humanly possible. Unless you're the Lord. And hold angles. Plus, it wouldn't really help if you could have operators jumping around corners and spraying. no jumping in Ubisoft's tactical shooter. But can someone please explain to me why World War Z, a zombie co-op shooter, doesn't let me jump? They have a climb button for grabbing ledges that feels janky as all hell. Someone sprints up to the scaffold to climb while running away from a horde, and they kind of just push their body against it until the prompt comes up while the player just sits there frantically pressing the spacebar. It's really unintuitive, and as a game that felt like the second coming of Left 4 Dead, it was disappointing. The spacebar takes up so much real estate on the keyboard, it's a waste not to use it. Just let players jump or even dodge roll. Games that inspired me to make this video, and what I wanted to actually talk about. Just to say again, most of the games I highlighted before, I do enjoy. Capiche? Cool. We're finally at the fun stuff. Vanquish, Dying Light, Titanfall 2, and Spider-Man, but I don't have a capture card just yet, and I'm too lazy to learn how to import videos from my PS4. Vanquish lets you boost, slide, and dodge roll while managing a meter that quickly runs out if you go into bullet time or use the boost too long. But the cheeky players of this game figured out that the first second of the boost animation doesn't burn any of the meter, and that a dodge roll cancels the boost, so you can cover large distances without using that much energy. Vanquish was designed from the ground up for players playing and the gameplay to just look cool. Gunplay is tight and responsive, but you're really coming to Vanquish for the movement and speed offered by the game. Moving around is fun as you zip around the battlefield taking out robots left and right. You can even take a quick break behind a chest-high wall for a quick smoke to distract your enemies before jumping back into the action. Combined with the slow motion and boost slide, it's hard not to love this game. Titanfall 2 is the pinnacle of skill-based movement in modern FPS games. This baby has it all. Physics-based sliding, wall running, a double jump, a grappling hook, and even bunny hopping. The whole shebang! This is all based around momentum. The more of these things you can string together, the faster you can go, with a speed cap that's probably higher than a player can realistically reach. Playing this game absolutely satisfies the need for me to pretend like I'm a badass and look kinda cool when I'm actually playing really bad. But the speed at which my fingers fly across my keys, barely able to keep up with what I want to do, is absolutely exhilarating. Everything feels natural. Moving around the map is refreshing. If Sonic games could capture this speed and momentum, they would be an overnight success. Not only that, the core gameplay loop of shooting guys until you get Titanfall is extremely enjoyable. Titanfall's movement is entrancing when you jump from wall to wall and use your grappling hook to swing around a corner and bunny hop onto a Titan, take it out with a rodeo. Now for the game that truly convinced me to make this video. Dying Light. I bought this game exactly a week ago for making this video, and I already have 30 hours in the game. To be brutally honest, the combat kinda sucks, and is really not the best part, as first-person melee combat is awkward as hell, and is not the game's strong suit. Same goes with the shooting. Human enemies with guns are a pain to deal with as they soak up a buttload of bullets, and can take you out in 1 or 2 shots. Now, zombies are actually pretty cool to deal with, but take a lot of hits to kill, and can still be a chore to fight. Especially when they introduce zombies that are literal tanks, as they soak up damage and just take forever to kill, with the way to kill them being extremely janky. But immaculate ragdoll physics are the saving grace for this subpar combat system that in any other game I would despise. But these traversal mechanics, these traversal mechanics, they don't make you feel as light as a feather, but the weight behind every jump, roll, and slide is just perfect. The grappling hook lets you maintain momentum across long distances and can get you onto rooftops in an instant. Without this parkour system, this game would definitely be a slog. And when it forces players into combat, it absolutely is. But when existing in a world is this fun, I can't help but keep playing this game. I did all the side missions and most of the challenges, even though most of them are just fetch quests or delivering things because running from place to place is just that exhilarating. And yes, as I highlighted before, this slide is not physics related whatsoever, and that sucks. But it's still useful for sliding through traps or breaking a zombie's legs. Although, as I said earlier, the combat is doo-doo. Since Traversal is fun, it more than makes up for the downfalls of said combat system. In most games, the player is interacting and moving through the world more often than actually being in combat. Might as well make the trip from A to B that much more enjoyable. It's just a shame that most games don't understand this. Great games like the Phantom Pain, where you could spend upwards of 8 minutes just running across the flat desert of Afghanistan or Africa for a couple minutes of tactical espionage action. I just feel that as an industry, gaming really hasn't evolved since Mario decided to run to the right in the first Super Mario Bros. Back on the NES. The entire concept of the game was making movement fun, and it seems that game developers have forgotten that. Kojima with his UPS simulator, Death Stranding, where movement was supposed to be an integral mechanic, was trampled by the utter tediousness of it all. And that's what it is. A lot of games make walking, running, or just getting to the next bit of action tedious and not that much fun as the action itself. However, I firmly believe that the next developer that fundamentally nails amazing movement with phenomenal gameplay will have one hell of a game on their hands. I just hope that I'll be there to see it. And welcome to the end card. Thank you for watching my whole video. I'd just like to apologize for how bad the sound quality was. I was using a new piece of software that really wasn't working, and I was trying something new and it didn't work again. I'd just like to thank Chivalry for the music and my friends Lorenzo and Dylan for some recording software that they provided. Thank you guys for watching to the end. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. Peace!